You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers, but we got Drew in Green Bay. What's going on?
Hey, Ryan, it's Drew from Green Bay, and, it's kind of funny that the Lions got back within striking distance at the end, because all that did was create a massive crash out among Lions fans, and it's just fun to watch. The whole narrative that we got the benefit of the calls, blah, blah, blah. Sure, we got the timeout, but normally, I think it was a bad call to give us the timeout, but normally if the ref isn't sure, he's going to give the coach the benefit of the doubt on that. And there were so many calls the Lions got. The fourth down incompletion that kept the drive alive, that when the Lions were basically cooked, because Nixon was standing there and the wide receiver ran into him. I'm sorry, that's not a legal contact. And when they continually held the arms of our wide receivers when they were trying to catch the ball and didn't get called for any of them, completely ridiculous. So the refs were on the side of the Lions were the beneficiary of the refs, in my opinion, all game. And but outside of that, just like the crash out, it's a ton of fun to watch. And I really think that this just shows how good Jeff Hafley is. We've been getting beat by the run. Today said, we're facing Jahmyr Gibbs. We're not going to get beat by Jahmyr Gibbs in the run. We dedicated to stopping it, and guess what? We took that away. And sure, Jameson Williams popped off, but that's because we were willing to allow that, and we didn't think Jameson Williams was going to beat us. And we were right. He didn't beat us. And especially when Amon-Ra went down. So I really like the dedication to stopping the run and how effective it was. And, the thing about Jeff Hafley, when he tries to take something away, he takes it away. It doesn't matter if it's the run, the pass, whatever. And that, Parsons and Gary, they're going to make enough plays, to get those key sacks to get off or create big down and distances to help our DBs out. So I love the game plan. I really liked the performance, and on to the next one. Go Pack Go. Oh, that reminds me, at the end, everyone talks about what do you say in response to Go Pack Go. I don't say Go Pack Go back, I say Go Pack, because that puts a finality onto it. So Go Pack is the perfect response. All right, but
That is a good call. Go Pack. It's better. I don't know why, but it feels better. Feels more like something I'd be willing to do. Yeah, and like you said, they have these plans that are geared toward how do we win. It's not always the sexiest thing in the world, but it's geared toward, I think if we execute this and we do a good enough job that we can win the game, and they are. And I think we're going to have to start trying to appreciate that. I'm already seeing a ton of see, the Matt LaFleur did what the fans wanted this week and they won. That's how you do it. Bro, they did what you didn't want the week before and won. I don't know why nobody's understanding this yet. It's not about one particular style. It's about doing what you need to do to win. It's just so stupid to me that we're really struggling to understand this concept.
Hey, Ryan, Beer Chief Benny here.
Yo.
Just want to call and talk about crying Lions fans.
Mm-hmm.
They are so pathetic, man. And you know what? It made me realize, I hope this phone call doesn't get cut out. I'm in an area where it might cut out. I hope this doesn't freaking cut out. Anyways, I've noticed Packer fans, we never blame the refs for our loss. It's always well, we weren't good enough. But the Lions fans, every time they lose, it's the
every
refs were
time
against us. It's freaking bullcrap. We should have won because the ref freaking called this or he didn't call that. And it's just dude, I can point out so many instances in that game where we should have blew you out because the ref didn't call this or that. But I'm not sitting there doing it. Like, so never mind that the refs totally, didn't allow us to blow you guys out. But you guys want to sit here and not know the rules of football.
There it goes.
But, like, the fact that you're still whining about it, like, oh, my God, womp womp, sorry, we're better than you. My gosh, man. It's just so freaking annoying, man. And then, like, it got Lions fans. Oh, my buddy who is like, I just refuse to talk sports about him because he's one of those guys that just, like, unprompted will just talk crap. Like, and I'm like, okay, man, it should be a good game, man. And he's talking about, like, how after the game I was like, I'm like, week one was a fluke, huh? He's like, I never said that. I'm like, well, all Lions fans were saying it, so you're grouped into that. And he's like, go lose to the Cleveland Browns, you bum. Go tie the Cowboys. I'm like, all right, well, if we lost to the Browns and tied the Cowboys, and you lost to us, then what the hell does that say about you?
Yeah.
Like, that means you're really bad. So, like, I don't understand, man. These Lions fans, dude. Back to poverty, same old Lions. Anyways, go Pack, go. We're better. We're just better, man. And love is him. Goff is not. Aiden Hutchinson. That just makes it even better, Ryan. Now they're gonna pay that guy more than Micah Parsons or just as much or whatever for like literally not even close to half the production. It's hilarious. Oh, you just gotta love it, man. Oh. I love this. Dude, Green Bay Packers are awesome, dude. So thankful on this Thanksgiving weekend that I'm a Packers fan, that I was born in Wisconsin. It didn't have to be a stinky Bears or Lions fan. Although there are some people that are born in those Michigan or Illinois that are Packers fans. Those are just people that have high IQ. So shout out to you. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, I mean, Packers fans are not above complaining about the refs, but I can't think of a single game this year or the last time I really remember. I'm sure it's happened, but I can't remember the last time Packer fans are adamant that we should have won, but didn't because of the refs. I mean, obviously the Fail Mary and more high-profile ones like that, but it is every time that we beat the Lions, and many other games where the Lions lose that I happen to notice, they complain about the refs. They are the whiniest fan base in the world when it comes to that's not fair. You cheated. That's not fair. And it's not just a bias thing because it's not true of the Bears. It's not true of the Vikings. It's not true of the Chiefs, the 49ers. I mean, it is funny seeing the Chiefs fans now out there screaming about the refs, which is, even if they're right, now you know how everybody else feels playing you all the time. But I mean, it's not, I think if you had to pick a single fan base that is the worst at taking just accepting that you lost, it has to be Detroit, which is crazy considering how far removed they are from being poverty, which is not very far at all. They can't take a loss. They can't ever accept that they lost. We didn't lose. The refs cheated us. We didn't lose. I mean, okay. All right. Great. Congratulations. You didn't lose. The refs screwed you every single time.
Hey, Puck Daddy. It is Happy Victory Friday. All I can say is Toyota, if they were smart, they would do a promo next year and give away a Toyota for every touchdown that Jordan Love throws on Thanksgiving to somebody somebody at the stadium or something like that. But dude, the guy was just on fire. On fire. What can we say? He is the dude. He is the dude.
Yeah, no, I mean he's looking great, and we're gonna need it. Frickin' Bears won the game, and I'm not going to handle it very well if we lose to the Bears. I'm just not. We are certainly, it's possible we could lose. I mean, the Bears are doing a phenomenal job of if you play like crap, we're going to punish you and we're going to hurt you real bad. And they've been fortunate that everybody's looked like crap, including the Eagles, which, of course, unfortunately, they have a fantastic record. So Bears fans are, oh, I thought we were frauds. We just beat an 8-win team. All right, yeah, I mean, I can't really talk because you did, but, I mean, everybody on planet Earth except Bears fans acknowledges, well, I guess the season's over for Philly because that was the worst offensive performance I think I've seen the entire year. But you can't tell a Bears fan that, no, we just beat an 8-win team, we're legit, all this. Okay, fine. Fine, yeah, you beat a legitimate quarterback and you beat a legitimate team, except they didn't play like it. They didn't look like it, but fine, whatever. And again, they're not they didn't come into that game a top 10 defense. Like I said, the Bears are not going to see a top 10 defense until they see the Packers. I was hoping we wouldn't, and again, assuming we win, this is probably best case scenario, that they do beat Philly. And kind of going back to the call from a couple days ago, is it possible that it's better the Bears beat Philly because it helps our odds to be the top seed or a higher seed or whatever? I mean, at this point, yeah, that is the silver lining, and assuming we win out, which obviously you can't assume, but for the sake of a thought experiment, yeah, that was the better case. But now we have to get the freaking job done, because if we lose to Chicago, now Chicago is by far the odds-on favorite to win the division. They're probably going to win the division. They're going to have home field games in the playoffs. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not dealing with that crap. I'm not ready to accept that. I will say, I think somebody had put, as far as the Bears are concerned, a pretty decent post out that was the only thing keeping the Bears from being a legitimately dangerous and talented team is their quarterback. And I think that that's true, and it's a little bit scary. Everything seems to be clicking pretty well with them. I think their defense might be pretty fake still. But, and by fake, I mean quite bad if you remove the interceptions. But they're clicking real well. Their quarterback just sucks. It's just that he doesn't suck enough to really drag the team down, especially with Ben Johnson scheming everybody wide open 24/7. Anyways, we need Jordan to play really, really well. And it's not just Chicago, even though 2 of our remaining games are Chicago. But I mean, it's going to be a tough race from here on out, and we're going to need to win most of our games, if not all our games, from here on out. And the only way that happens, and this isn't going to be enough. I mean, Jordan can play great, and it doesn't matter. Offensive line, receivers dropping everything, defense can't stop anybody, whatever. It's not going to be enough to have Jordan, but it's necessary, not sufficient, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's something that has to happen, even if it's not the only thing that has to happen, and that is Jordan has to be playing at a high level. But fortunately, he is. He's playing at a very high level. If we can just figure out the frickin' offensive line thing, finally got things working, and right at the time that we do, like, Sean Ryan finally has a good day, and nobody else is really, Zach Tom is kind of getting back healthy, playing his best football. And right as that's all happening, we put Jordan Morgan in at right guard, and Anthony Belton in at right guard, and he is just the biggest disaster, worse than Morgan. And it's like, okay, well, we're going backwards there, but fine, whatever you want to do there, Chiefs. All right, let's take a break. We got more Garrett on the other side.
And on the other side of the ball, Ryan, I think that maybe the Pens undergarments could use Jared Goff as their spokesperson, because every time he turned around, he looked around and saw Micah Parsons coming at him, and he'd say, "Oh crap," and then he'd crap his pants.
Yes, got it.
So I don't feel sorry for the dude. Every time that Parsons hit him, I have to say I've giggled a little bit more every time. Oh, that felt so good. That was such a great win. Such a great win. Let's hope they can carry that on to next week. They got a little bit of a extended break against the upcoming home game against the Bears. Let's hope they use it to prepare and prepare wisely. Let's go. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, we'll see the injury situation. I mean, obviously the Bears have just about as much time to prepare as we do. Be interesting to see how that pans out because obviously we're not in a great situation as far as the injuries are concerned. Wyatt is going to be obviously gone, but hopeful to get some receivers back that could help. But that makes me nervous because it's like we always assume, okay, they're back. Now I expect them to be elite. It's like, you got to remember, the last time they played was like week 3. And with the amount of time that Reed was out, this may as well be like training camp all over again, you know? And so you got guys like Watson and Dobbs and Wicks or whatever that are playing at, you know, they're kind of like their postseason selves. Someone's at the front door. And Reed might need some time to get back into it. And everyone's just going to be frustrated because, oh, where's Reed? Oh, we get Reed back. We don't even use him. We'll see. We'll see how it goes with Reed and how he's feeling and hopefully Golden and all that stuff.
Breaking news, Dan Campbell has been sent to anger management for the next 4 weeks. When he comes back, he will insist on being called Drew. And I just want to say, Ryan, you got to make an AI song about him putting his fist through the wall using the song style of Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Oh.
Got to do it.
Well, I am going to steal that idea and put it on social media. We'll see about the wall. I think that's a brilliant idea, and I will work on that.
Hey, what's up, Ryan? How are you, buddy? It's Black Friday. I'm just hate watching the Bears right now.
Yeah.
It's really pretty interesting. I feel like the Bears are probably playing the Eagles in a similar way to how they'll probably play the Packers. And it's early in this game, so you'll obviously know what happened. And you know what? Regardless of what happens, I'm not going to get too high or too low on the Bears. I've kind of been. I think the Bears are good. You know, I think they beat some lesser teams, but like they got 8 wins, so you know, I think they're a pretty good opponent for next week. And even if they beat the Eagles, I'm not going to crown them either. Win or lose, I still think they're a pretty good team, and this is not going to be an easy game next week. I'm not really in Bears mode yet, but watching them play a defense that is probably a little bit similar to us is kind of interesting. And I feel like we had a little bit of struggles against that outside run. I mean, they bottled up Gibbs pretty well yesterday, but like Montgomery did get some things going inside a little bit. And then Gibbs and Williams were able to kind of break free outside there with some kind of, I thought the Lions had a couple clever like misdirection handoffs and things like that to try to get some space on that outside. And they had some success there. And the Bears look like a pretty good running team right now. They're kind of just cramming it down Philly's throat. We'll see. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game with a lot on the line. So hopefully the Eagles can hang an L on the Bears here. But man, the Eagles have kind of had a horseshoe in their ass this year, though, haven't they? I mean, I feel like
they are the luckiest team in football, yes, and they're also just they're very similar to 2023. So if we can go back, unfortunately, we got screwed by the Eagles pretty hard because 2023, it was very similar. They got off to a really hot start. They looked like a good team, great record, all that. And then by the second half of the year, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And by the time the playoffs rolled around, they were a dog crap football team. There was all this talk about they were so bad and the locker room was terrible and all the stuff that you're hearing now. And then when 2024 rolled around, we played them week 1, and everybody's like, oh, the Eagles are good, and you got to better watch out. And I'm like, why do we think they're good? I don't understand. They ended the season looking terrible. Well, they did end up looking good. In 2024, they were good, and they stayed good. They didn't get worse, and they ended up getting better and better and better and won the freaking Super Bowl. And then this year rolls around, and they look pretty good. Not quite as good as when they won the Super Bowl, but pretty good. And they're doing the 2023 thing again, where they're just falling completely apart. And Jalen Hurts, who for the season has graded out quite well, looks very good and all that. For this morning's podcast, I guess, when I was looking at Jordan Love and whatnot, Jalen Hurts was near the top of that list. So I mean, it's a bad thing that is rapidly getting worse, and of course, it hit at the exact right time for the frickin' Bears. So you want to talk about a horseshoe? My goodness! And again, I can't, like you said, with the record and everything, I can't talk. I'm not gonna rush on social media like some people. Oh well, you know what? I'm just not. I'm not really impressed by that win because that was one of the worst offensive performances I have seen. But you're right. There is a level of competence to the Bears that you can't show up and play bad football or they will destroy you. That's what they've done all year. And there is something good about that. I mean, it's consistency. I don't think they have a very high level, which is why I don't think that they're going to do anything in the playoffs. But again, you put them against bad teams in the regular season, they're going to beat them up. And that's why I definitely don't want to talk, because we could show up and play bad football and get embarrassed by the Bears, which of course I don't want, especially against Dan Campbell, who does have a pretty good record against the Green Bay Packers and how to attack the Green Bay Packers. So we just need to be on our game. We need to be that team that can embarrass the Chicago Bears. And unless and until that happens, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. All right? Congratulations. You won a ton of games. And, again, you want me to put money down on what's going to happen? It's not going to be that the Bears go on to win a bunch of their games coming up. And it's not going to be that they win the division. And it's not going to be that they do anything in the postseason. Maybe they pull off a game in the playoffs. But that entirely depends on how things fall, because there's usually multiple fraud teams, and if they do win the division and they get that fraud team to come into their house, then yeah, they'll probably get that win. But they're not going to beat any really competent teams. And that's why we need the Packers to be a competent team when they play the Chicago Bears, because if they do, they win. If they don't, they lose.
Have we not just been getting over losing Tucker Kraft and our offense been a mess that game when we should have beat them? And I feel like they've escaped a couple other games too, because I just think their offense is, the Phillies offense is weird, but we'll see here, man. Like, definitely Williams, like once he boots out, with his mobility is kind of a nightmare, whether or not he makes a good throw out of that, but he's
hard to bring down.
Threat, like once he breaks containment too, so they're gonna have to work on a lot of spying and whatnot. But
garbage.
God, it just underscores how great it is to have freaking Parsons with a mobile quarterback. Though.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you get a guy who's one of the two fastest guys on the field, and he's your pass rusher. Good Lord. Anyway, I think I want Philly to win because I want the Bears to lose, but I don't know. At the end of the season, maybe
right.
I don't.
It might end up helping us.
Anyway, man, enjoy the afterglow of the victory yesterday, and enjoy hate watching the Bears. Go Packers, everybody.
Well, I didn't. I turned it off because I hated watching the hate watch of the Bears. But, yeah, I mean, it's just annoying. I just want to see a good team play the Bears. That's it. Because my whole thing has been, man, if you go up against a good team, they're going to actually beat you, and you're not going to be... And what happens? They go up against the Eagles, and the Eagles look like the worst team in football. Like, how did you get this record? I mean, it was like from the first snap, you're seeing Jalen Hurts like shaking his head after every single terrible throw. And it's just like, oh, come on. Can you please just be good? Please just be good when you play the Bears. And of course, the Bears end up dominating them because they look like garbage. And then the Bears fans feel all good about it, even though they almost lost the game. They tried to give the game away. But then there was the second turnover that pretty much squashed that right at the frickin' near the goal line there. It's like, I just can't frickin' deal with this. It ticks me off. But whatever. They have a bad quarterback, right? He's really hard to bring down, and he can make occasional highlight throws. Yes, just like Justin Fields could and Mitch Trubisky could, and a lot of guys can. But as far as being a good quarterback, he's not really a good quarterback, and it's freaking annoying to me. And I'm tired of all the bull crap, and I'm ready for them to just be a bad team. And again, this will be the first top 10 defense they've faced in a very, very long time. And if they show up and don't look like a top 10 team, I'm going to be ticked. Because, it's like, oh, they run the ball really well, and they do. But they're not as good of a running team as Detroit. So what should be the problem? There shouldn't be a problem. They don't have as good of an offense as Detroit has, like in any way, shape, or form. So this should not be an issue. And I don't want to frickin' hear any nonsense. That just do your job and beat the crap out of the Bears. That's it.
Happy day after Thanksgiving, Ryan, and everyone out there. It's AA Ron from Eau Claire, and just wanted to celebrate the Packers win with everybody and just enjoy the fact that we swept the Lions, and we did it in a very tough fashion. We were very physical with them. They definitely weren't laying down. They were giving us everything they had, and it just wasn't enough. And we executed really, really well on most things yesterday. Jordan Love had himself an absolute day, and I think it's, at this point, I think it's safe to say that, we can trust Jordan Love to be our quarterback. That doesn't mean he's going to have a great game every week. Nobody does. But I think, I couldn't help but think he really has arrived as the unquestioned future of our team. And him and Parsons are going to be the faces of the franchise for the next few years, for sure. So I'm excited about that. And obviously the Devontae Wyatt thing is a devastating injury. Very disappointed about that. Hope he is able to recover, and that's going to be tough for a guy to just completely lose the capability to play. That's so tough. But yeah, it'll also be tough for our run defense, but I think we have enough good players that we'll be able to, we'll still be able to play well. And then, my other thing is, what was my other thing? If I can remember. Well, I loved seeing all the Packers just chowing down on turkey afterwards. That's always fun. They had like a slow-mo shot of, a giant shred of turkey just dangling from Micah Parsons' mouth. It was just in slow motion. It was hilarious. But I can't imagine, after playing a football game, how good must food taste? How tired must they be, So that was fun to watch. And, I don't know. It was just a very satisfying win. And I'm just grateful for the fact that my Thanksgiving wasn't terrible because the Packers won. There you go.
Yeah, it is exciting to have Jordan and Micah as the face of the franchise for a very long time. Now it just comes down to optimizing it. Again, I think D-line and O-line need to be fixed. I think our defensive front is really good with Micah. It can be a lot better. I'm hoping Van Ness is a big part of that, but especially the interior, we're going to need something there. O-line, for very obvious reasons, it's just not working. But this is a good spot to be in. Now, everybody's all panicked about, this is your window. This is your window. We're in the optimizing phase. Okay, this is a great spot to be in. When you're, this is like when the Chiefs were winning Super Bowls and they would draft running backs in the first round, because they've got so much taken care of. They're very good. It's just a matter of how can we optimize what we have. They're one of the few teams that, in those situations could do stuff like that, and it wasn't actually very stupid. Maybe in hindsight it was, I don't know, but you get my point. And I'm not saying we're to that level, but it's something similar. We don't have these catastrophic needs that if we don't get this, we're never going to win this, that, or the other. I know negative fans are going to say that that's not the case, and we didn't know. No, we just need to optimize. We need to find those things that are we're already from day one a playoff team. It's how can we be a better playoff team? How can we be that team that is so devastatingly talented? You look at the Rams. What did it take? A handful of good drafts. And they got Jared Verse and, some pieces that are holy crap. And it doesn't hurt that their quarterback is having the best year of his career by a mile, which of course fans are doing that thing again, where we take a thing that's happening now and pretend it's always been the case. I think I talked about it already, but I saw somebody say, do we need to have the conversation that maybe Stafford is better than Rodgers was? And it's like, we're doing this because of this 1 year. That's it. We wouldn't have had this conversation last year or any other year prior to this year. And for that reason, no, he's not better than Rodgers. I'm so sorry. This whole goldfish memory phenomenon is just so freaking tiring. But anyways, do what you can this year. Fight for it, scrap for it, battle for it. But also, ABB, always be building. What can we do to get even better next year? And of course, half the fan base doesn't want to do that. We want to doom and gloom like every year. Oh, we're going to lose this person. We're going to lose and lose and lose. Everybody loses every year. That's part of the process, right? But coming out ahead, how do we build in the midst of losing? Oh, the salary cap. Oh, we're doomed. We've been doomed every year since eternity. All right, stop it. We should have had a top 5 pick like 5 years in a row if it was for the doom and gloomers every year. Rashawn Gary should have been long gone like 5 years ago because we just can't afford to keep him. And Elton Jenkins, we just can't afford to keep him. And all these people, we just can't afford to keep them. Yes, we can. Everything's fine. Frickin' relax. Sure, we can't afford to pay our receivers, and we can't afford to pay Van Ness, and we can't afford to pay anybody, except that's never happened in the history of the world, where it's like, oh no, this superstar has to be cut because we can't afford him. Literally never happened and never will. Nonsense. I can't see. Here we go. Ready, go.
One more thing. I was just, it's at the start of the Bears and Eagles game, which is going way less good than I hoped it would.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the Eagles offense is kind of disjunct. It kind of reminds me of our offense like 2 weeks ago. It's so funny. I always see these moments on the broadcast where whoever's like the struggling team or who's like losing or having a bad day or just fumbled or something, they always show the player on the bench. So they're showing like Jalen Hurts or whoever, and like just the look on their face is like, it's like they're contemplating their mortality. It's like there's no more like powerful drama than just real life, like Jalen Hurts is like missing passes and all this stuff, can't get the first down. And like they just show him on the sideline just like sitting there with like the most like just like pensive look on his face, like he's just cannot get out of his own head. But yeah, so go Pack go. Next week, whatever happens today in the Bears game, next week is going to be a real showdown, and I'm excited for it. And that's the other thing I was going to say. Really, the only knock I have on the win yesterday is, sometimes like those runs or like yards after the catch, like the defense is like just. I don't know what the problem is, but like they'll just leave these wide open gaps where someone will get a chunk of like 20, 30 yards all random and stuff. And it looks like that's what the Bears are doing to Philly right now. And so that's my only concern for next week is like I really, really don't want that to happen to us too much next week where they just start getting these chunk runs. Like they got to tighten that up. It's going to happen sometimes, and that's fine. Like yesterday, it was fine because they were able to tighten it up enough to like offset those plays. But like, it would be really nice if they could identify what was happening on those plays so that they don't have that happen more and more and more. Because man, those are devastating. Just like give the ball to because then the quarterback doesn't have anything to do with it. They're just like throwing the ball off and then whoever gets it, and that's where.
Well, a couple of calls later. I'll let you finish. The only thing I'll say, just in case you kind of change your topic or whatever, and I always get sidetracked, I feel like that was maybe the first time that I really remember seeing that happen to the Packers this year. I mean, obviously not the first time ever, but in terms of it being like a major issue throughout. And I hope it ends up being kind of a good thing, because even in the second half, it was cleaned up. Get it out of your system. Not that I would have wanted it to go that way against Detroit, but it's good to get it on film and identify it, that what you guys did is bullcrap and it's unacceptable, and I better never see it again, because you're right. Next week, you've got a good physical team with a good physical offensive line that likes to run the ball physically downhill into your face. And so it's going to be a similar game plan trying to stop the Chicago Bears as it is to Detroit to get them to stop the run. And if you're not tackling, we're in big trouble. Bottom line.
3 minutes got me. No, but that's where like someone like Caleb Williams or Jared Goff, who are like not like absolutely horrible talents or whatever, like they're solid at times, but like they're not elite, at least not to my eyes. But they get away with it because like they basically just dump it off short, and then they just have these super speedy guys that just go and do the rest. Whereas like Jordan Love, his 4 touchdowns were like 100% talent and skill.
Yeah.
Like he had a deep ball, he had like a short dump off, he had like a fade to the sidelines that was like just on the edge. I mean, like Jordan Love has a real quarterback's like skill set. Packers just know how to pick those guys, and I just love the fact that they've done it again. So, anyways, that's it. See you later.
Yeah, and again, the Bears do some good stuff. They don't have a Jahmyr Gibbs, though. You know what I mean? They've got some guys, but as far as like putting a guy like that out in space and hoping he can make something happen, look, if the Packers are going to be sloppy and miss tackles, it really doesn't matter who it is. But the good news is it's not to that caliber. I don't think the quarterback is as good. He's much more elusive for sure, and he's going to be harder to bring down if you can get there. But I don't think the quarterback is as good as far as reading defenses, identifying the open man, and identifying them quickly enough, and all that kind of stuff. And they don't have a Jahmyr Gibbs in space. They also don't have a guy quite as speedy. They've got good receivers. And if we're just going to have Keyshawn Nixon follow guys in man coverage all day, then, that's probably going to keep happening. But they don't have quite as speedy of a guy as what Detroit has in Jamison Williams. So, I don't want to downplay it too much because, again, the Bears are more than capable of beating a team that's going to be sloppy and miss tackles and everything. But if the Packers do play good football, then it really shouldn't be that big of an issue in terms of if you can do it to the Lions, you should be able to do it to the Bears. All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back with Nico.
So just watching the Bears game, they're up by 7 now. They look not horrible. Not watching every play though. But let's just hope that changes. And it's kind of funny. So I'm just enjoying the day. My wife likes to take a bunch of leftovers from yesterday and make just a huge turkey pot pie with everything that was cooked. It's amazing. And it's funny, for some reason I saw a bunch of when I was watching all my social TikTok this morning, all my football stuff, it was a bunch of people's takes, pre-game takes. And a lot of them were like NFL people. The ones from fans I don't really put much into because they're just fanning, and I get it. Oh, we're going to kill you because you guys suck, whatever. So one dude kept saying, but the Packers are so bad. And then we beat the crap out of this team again, and he didn't really retract that because, they could be bad, but they're not as bad as the Lions. But anyway, I saw all these pre-game takes and more than once, people were like saying how, the Packers got a good defense, but I just don't trust Love. He's not clutch.
Right.
And I guess I've kind of heard that because, he has...
It is funny how they're these... It almost seems like because Jordan Love, I don't even want to say necessarily inconsistent because I think he's less inconsistent than what people believe. But, that whole goldfish thing, people have vacillated so much that they're really struggling to identify him, because he went from MVP to he's not the guy to MVP to he's not the guy. And I think inconsistent is just kind of what's sitting on him and the Packers in general. And again, I think there's a lot of really bad, lazy analysis out there. And so, yeah, you see a lot of these games where it's like, yeah, they're just too inconsistent, and Jordan's just not that good. And, so then when something like this happens, there is a lot of like, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense.
Really, people say, oh, he's losing the playoff. Well, I mean, he's been twice, and yeah, he's lost. But, I mean, everybody but one team loses in the playoffs.
Rare occasion to lose in the playoffs.
But the whole, he's not even, it was one of them was one of the pregame shows, and one of the people's like, you guys are all taking, the Lions, and then he took the Lions, and his reason why was because Jordan Love was not clutch. I've heard a few people say that before the game yesterday. After I saw post game, but I'm like, is that a thing that Jordan Love was not clutch? Because if that's a thing, right? He was as clutch as you can be yesterday.
No.
So I hope. I don't want to be put in a situation where the dude's making, fourth down, amazing passes to steal the game. But that whole game was clutch yesterday. Just, man. So I don't know. I would like to see that. Obviously, I'm a homer. I want to see my guy get accolades. And I don't mind criticism.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is he's lately he's been playing good football, but the stats are not massive. I mean, obviously the 4-touchdown thing is going to be pretty big, but 100 to 200 yard game, which is unusual even for like any Packers quarterback to throw for less than 200 yards is super rare. But I think a lot of people are tying that in with, well, that wasn't a good game. That's not necessarily the reality.
As long as it's real, but to say he's not clutch is stupid because that fool has been just unlike that one guy. I forget his name that Clayton had an issue with. Yeah, he's been dropping some dimes. By the way, I haven't heard him since. I guess he went back into maybe he saw the sun and went back into the hole for 8 weeks. Anyways, so yeah, Jordan Love is clutch, and all you people that say he's not clutch are dumb. So there you go. I said it. Probably not the first, not going to be the last, but go Paco.
He's playing good football. He's going to have bad days, and, I will say what I've said 1,000 times. Let's not overreact when it happens. Everybody has their day, and it's coming sometime, hopefully not in the postseason, but sometime in the next several games, he's going to have a non-elite game, I promise. And I expect Bears, Lions, Vikings fans, and national media people to overreact. But as a Packer fan, I'm hoping you can frickin' control yourself a little.
Hey, what's up, Kyle from Madison? Well, the Bears did end up beating the Eagles. And I'm, conflicted in how to feel about it. Now, in my previous call, I said, I'm not surprised, honestly. I don't know. I heard a lot of people saying this week, well, if the Bears beat the Eagles, I'll be a believer. And it's like, well, I don't know. I think it's very hard to accidentally have 8 wins, or 9 now, but
not necessarily. It's not a very common thing, but again, we saw it in 2022 with the Vikings. We've seen fraud teams numerous times. So it's not, generally speaking, there's a correlation between how good you are and how many wins that you have. It's why it's not the worst thing in the world to sort our postseason and everything by wins, because generally it's correlated to how good you are, although not perfectly, and there are better ways to do it. I'm not advocating for it, but there are. But it's also not impossible. That's why I don't fully buy into the Bears fan argument of, well, you don't just luck your way into 8 wins or whatever. It's like, not usually, but you can, and teams have. And so it's just kind of a question of are you legit in just some hidden way that nobody can find outside of the wins, or are you just another fraud team like what we saw with Minnesota in 2022, the Giants in 2022? Pretty much every year there's always fraud teams. In fact, the Eagles in 2023 ended up being a fraud team. It wasn't that they were the whole year, but by the time that they got there, they were absolutely fraudulent. Everybody knew they were bad. Everybody knew they were going to be a first-round exit, which I don't even remember. They might have missed the playoffs. I don't even remember, but you can usually identify it for what it is, and you know what the outcome is going to be of those teams. They don't belong. They shouldn't be there, even though they have a bunch of wins. And they're going to get bounced immediately because they're not that good. And usually it follows regression the next year because you're not going to be that lucky again. And so there needs to be something different from the Bears in order for me to believe that they're a good team, not just wins. I mean, you're going to have to do something different. And again, they beat the Eagles. I know the score didn't look close, but I mean, it certainly got close. And again, the Eagles just gave the ball away again as they were about to basically tie the game. Gave the ball away, then the Bears score again, and at that point, it's way out of reach. But I mean, it took a Herculean effort from the Eagles as far as like the most pathetic performance I've ever seen in order for that to happen. So it's just kind of an eye roll. Again, I'm not going to go around talking about, oh, the Bears suck after they go on to win again. But in terms of it just being an accident, yeah. I mean, it's not really an accident. It's just, it's an anomaly. But anomalies happen when you're talking about large sample sizes of multiple teams, multiple years, multiple games. You're going to have a high correlation rate to good and wins, and you're also going to have a couple outliers. And the Bears this year are an outlier. It just is what it is.
Certainly the Packers had some quote unquote gimmies on the schedule, and we didn't win those games. So I don't know. I think but
it all balances out. Again, that's where DVOA comes in. We can answer that question without having, again, Bears fans want to do this all the time. Yeah, but what about? We don't need to just do the what about game because we have people that can calculate this. How badly you won, how well you won, how badly you lost, all that stuff, and against all your common opponents. And when it comes out, the Packers are a top 5, top 10 team, and the Bears are a bottom 10 team. When we do all this stuff and calculate out the wins and the losses. So, again, it just is what it is. I mean, we can see quality of a team through the noise. And they're not a high quality team. They deserve credit for their wins, of course. I'm not taking that from them. I'm not advocating that they shouldn't have the wins shouldn't be honored because there's always luck involved in any win or loss. But again, just looking forward, if the playoffs were today, do I think that they're going to play like a legitimate, what are they, a 9-win team or whatever? No, because they're not. And that's just the situation. So, I mean, what's another? I don't even know the records of some of these teams. Just for instance, trying to pick a non-fraud team because I think the Patriots, there's a lot of questions as well. Well, Bears-Rams, they're both 9-2. No way in the world are the Bears on the same level as the Rams. Broncos, I can't really speak to. I don't know much about them, but I would assume they're not on that level. There's not actually that many teams. And maybe that's the biggest selling point for the Bears is there's not a ton of teams that are super solid that you would believe in. I don't think they're on the level of the Packers or Detroit. I would say Philly, but again, they're playing like a 3-win team right now. Tampa lost their quarterback, so I can't say them anymore, even though I would have. I don't think they're up there with Seattle. 49ers, I don't really know what they are. The Bills, I think, dog walk them, and the Bills are a 7-win team. So, again, congrats. You got your wins. That's awesome. Are they real wins? Is it going to translate to wins in the future against quality opponents or in the postseason or in 2026? No. I mean, it can, but only if it comes with changes. Caleb starts playing better, whatever, which is possible. Caleb could start playing at a really high level, and then all of a sudden the team actually is good. And, of course, people are going to pretend, see, they were good all along. No, they weren't. They got better. But again, that doesn't mean we walk in and just steal a win from the Bears by any stretch, because as they've shown, if you don't show up like the Eagles, it doesn't matter what your record is, if you show up and play like dog crap, they're going to win. So we can't do that. But do I think if we play good football that they're going to be a challenge? No, I don't. I really don't.
got to respect the Bears, and certainly their running game there was a huge pain in the ass for Philadelphia, and they just couldn't stop it. And I don't know what that means for us, especially having lost Wyatt now. I mean, yeah, they kept trying to get Caleb to make a mistake, and he just really didn't for the most part. So I don't know if that's going to be the approach on defense for us, but I mean, they certainly look capable of paper cutting you to death with, an explosive play mixed in here or there. So that'll be interesting, man. I don't think that Philadelphia is the litmus test that everyone thinks they are.
No, they were terrible.
And I just having played them, I mean, if we weren't a complete disaster offensively for the most part because of our offensive line, Tucker Kraft the week before, I think we beat Philadelphia. I mean, my God, if we just would have had any kind of a pulse, we would have beat them, So I think when this season is over, they're not going to be the litmus test that they seem like they are right now. But that's not to take away from the Bears' victory. Pretty impressive. And actually, you know what? It's probably better because I do feel like the Packers now, like, what do you do next? Because we've seen them have big games and then flop. If you come out now against Chicago on a long week, knowing everything that's at stake off a big win, I mean, then that's just kind of who you are. If you didn't learn your lesson so far this year, because you'd have to be a fool to take the Bears lightly after what they've done this season, after what they just did to that Philadelphia defense. So, I think it makes it a little harder to look past this team, but I can't imagine that a professional player would be at this point. I've got another question for you. Do you think, Wicks has got to get the snaps instead of Golden now, right? I mean, or are the Packers going to do the thing like they've done all year where they just play players that aren't as good as other players just because, insert reason? Because I just don't know how you take snaps away from Wicks after he does that. But I don't know, man. It should be interesting. I want to get your thoughts. Take care.
Well, first of all, we can't look past anybody, as we've learned, or should have learned, after losing to teams worse than the Bears. I mean, you can't do that in the NFL. You can't fall asleep at the wheel. You will lose, period. But I also don't want to do that thing where, as far as the wide receivers are concerned, because of 1 week now, we have to pretend that Wicks is some elite receiver. He hasn't had a single good game since week 2. I mean, what game was it just recently that Wicks was like some disaster and everybody was like, oh, Wicks is, all the drops and everything. I mean, that was very recently. So, again, as far as like, well, how could you possibly take snaps away? Easily. Very easily. He had one good game. It was not only the best game that he's ever had, it's probably the best game he will ever have. It's one of the best games any Packers receiver has ever had, according to his PFF grade. And so I'm just not going to react as though that's what's going to be the output from Wicks. Not only from now on, but like ever. And this is that whole thing where it's like, let's not vacillate so much about everything. Emmanuel Wilson has a good game. Well, he needs to be our starting running back. Now, Malik Willis has a good couple plays. He needs to be our starting quarterback now. Dontavian Wicks has a good game. He needs to be the main guy now. No, he had a 92 grade. Week 12, it was 68, then 56, then 69, then 53, then 64, then 47, then 63. His last good game, week 2, 79. He still has a drop rate above 10%, which is way down from what it was last year, which was 18%. I like Wicks. He's a good receiver. But we can't let individual performances sway us so much that when somebody does something good, then it's just, that's it now. Because if you go into this week saying we need to build the offense around Wicks, he's going to come out looking like Wicks from every other week, and now you just screwed yourself. Now, is he over Golden? I mean, it's hard to say because they're two completely different types of receivers that do different types of things, but maybe, because it's not like Golden's done anything. Whether that's his fault or LaFleur's fault or Jordan's fault or whoever's fault it is, I don't know, but I just think you run your offense, and 1 week it'll be Wicks, and 1 week it'll be Watson, and 1 week it'll be Dobbs, and 1 week it'll be Reed, and 1 week it'll be Golden, and 1 week it'll be Tucker, and 1 week it'll be Musgrave. And we don't need to overreact to any of those things. Just keep doing what you're doing and, let the chips fall where they may. Now, if Wicks can string together 4, 5, 6 of these games, then we have a different conversation. But he has been a mediocre at best player for almost the entire season, and one game is not going to sway me a ton on where he is on this team. I mean, Isaiah McDuffie has been great all year, and I still am assuming this is going to be an anomaly, and we will not see this again next year, because it happens all the time. And the odds that a 6th-round pick from, 2021 in year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is suddenly having some elite breakout and is actually a top 10 linebacker in the NFL, it's not impossible, but it's extremely unlikely. I'm not trying to pick on McDuffie for any other reason other than illustration in terms of like what it actually takes to sway me on these things, that he is just an elite linebacker. No, I have a suspicion that he is a subpar linebacker having an elite year, and next year it won't be like this. But who knows? You never know. Maybe it's real. It's certainly real this year. So play him, but I'm just saying. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I got to see if I can figure out this, what was it? Oh, The Wall, right? Pink Floyd, The Wall. See what I can do with that. I think Pink Floyd can be fun if I can get it to be, and it might be kind of obnoxious for some people, but in order for it to even be slightly identifiable as Pink Floyd, it's got to have sort of those long, drawn-out, solo-y, I don't even know what those sounds are that they make, but it's got to have some of that, right? Was that like from Animals or whatever? Was it Pigs or whatever it was? Where it's, and just droning on. Doodaloo, do. It's like the pigs snorting in the background, It's a good song. Pink Floyd's got some absolute fantastic songs. I haven't really hammered it on AI because I think the odds that they're going to nail Pink Floyd is super low, at least in terms of being like a good Pink Floyd song, because they're so unique. It's easier to hit on some of the more generic music. Pink Floyd's going to be tough, but we'll give it a shot. All right, I'm out of here. Y'all have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
We don't need no Thanksgiving wins. We don't need no ball control. Dark frustration in the locker room. Can't believe that drywall alone. Hey! Can't believe that wall alone. All in all, it's just another hole in the wall. All in all, you're just another hole in the wall. Another hole in the wall. Hole in the wall. Another hole in the wall. Tear it down. Another hole in the wall. We don't need no kneecap biting. We don't need no coach control. No more prime time game collapses. Can't believe that plaster alone. Hey! Danny, leave that wall alone. All in all, it's just another loss to Green Bay. All in all, you're just another hole in the wall. Another hole in the wall. Hole in the wall. Another hole in the wall. Punch it down. Another hole in the wall. The wall. on Turkey Day, in front of the whole nation watching, when you promised them a dynasty, but delivered only destruction. What do? You put your fist through the drywall like a champion.